If you've been watching the Forex and prop trading space lately, you've probably noticed a pretty massive divide. Some firms just seem to naturally command attention, right? While others are out there hustling relentlessly just to get a single online mention. Well, in today's explainer, we're going to completely unpack how the fastest growing prop firms are skilling their authority. And spoiler alert, they are not begging for coverage. We're going to dive right into why the old ways of getting noticed are fundamentally broken and how a strategic shift changes absolutely everything. Just let this harsh reality sink in for a second. Most prop firms are spending hundreds of hours chasing backlinks. Think about the sheer human capital being deployed here. We are talking about entire teams of people sitting behind screens, firing off endless outreach emails, asking for mentions, essentially begging for coverage from third-party sites. It's completely exhausting. But here's what the data tells us. The firms that are actually seeing explosive growth right now, they're getting these backlinks without ever asking for them. They're using a strategy that the vast majority of firms are just completely ignoring. So let's get into the core of the issue, the SEO problem, and why all this hustle just isn't scaling. Traditional SEO tactics are notoriously slow, they're unpredictable, and let's be honest, they're incredibly frustrating. Think about the standard playbook we've all seen for years. Cold outreach, guest posting, manual link building. The source material points out a massive bottleneck with all of this, and it's the incredibly low response rates. When your firm relies on these manual methods, you are literally at the mercy of someone else opening an email and deciding to do you a favor. It's slow, it's unpredictable, and because of that, it is practically impossible to scale. You just can't reliably project growth when your visibility depends entirely on the whims of somebody's inbox. And that brings us to the light bulb moment of this entire explainer. The problem isn't getting backlinks. The problem is creating something actually worth linking to. When firms struggle with SEO, they almost always think they have a distribution problem. They think, oh, we just aren't sending enough emails. But the reality, they have a creation problem. If you're just putting out noise, nobody is going to link to it. You've got to pivot away from begging for a link and start providing something of undeniable value.
Which leads us perfectly into our next focus, the strategic PR advantage.
Notice the stark contrast here. The old way is an outward push. It's forcing your way into inboxes, asking for favors, just creating noise and chasing links. The new way completely flips the script. It is all about creating news. When a successful prop firm creates actual news instead of noise, authority naturally follows. You're no longer chasing, you are earning.
So how do you actually do this? You take everyday business milestones and transform them into searchable assets. This is exactly how you create that news. The source material gives us some highly effective real-world examples. You take what you might normally just toss onto a social media feed and you formalize it. Did your firm just secure new funding? Boom, that's an asset. Launching a new trading platform? Asset. Expanding into a new country, signing a partnership, or hitting a massive milestone in trader payouts? All of these are highly linkable, super interesting pieces of information. By framing these as official press releases, you give other websites a legitimate, compelling reason to talk about you and link back to your domain.
The actual mechanics of this are brilliantly simple. It's a clean four-step process. Step 1, you publish the news and get syndicated across various media networks. Step 2, because it's on those authoritative networks, search engines like Google quickly index it. Step 3, now that it's indexed, your audience, journalists, bloggers, traders searching for industry news, they discover it. And finally, step 4, you earn citations. Those organic backlinks just start naturally occurring because people are referencing the news you created. It is a systematic, highly scalable machine. Now, let's look at why this pays off long-term. Building evergreen visibility. Unlike a fleeting tweet or a social media post that vanishes in a day, a single press release creates a lasting digital footprint. The timeline here is absolutely crucial to understand. On day 1, sure, you get that immediate hit of syndication, but watch what happens weeks later. Search engine discovery and media references really start to build. Months later, those organic backlinks are still rolling in because people are finding your old news while researching the industry. And years later, all of those accumulated citations have built a foundation of long-term brand credibility and authority. It literally keeps working for you long after you hit publish. So you really have to ask yourself a hard question here, because your answer is going to dictate the entire trajectory of your firm's growth. Would you rather spend the next year asking for backlinks, or spend that year building stories people actually want to reference? If you have a set budget of time and resources for the next 12 months, where is it going? Are you spending it asking for favors, or are you spending it building compelling narratives and permanent digital assets? That brings us right to our ultimate takeaway. Stop chasing, start building. Literally stop chasing backlinks. Make them come to you. The absolute best prop firms in the game right now don't chase authority. They build compelling stories, they turn those stories into assets, and they let those assets work for them. Stop the endless outreach. Stop the begging. By focusing on your own internal milestones and packaging them correctly through strategic PR, you magnetically attract the exact visibility you've been desperately trying to hunt down. If your firm has a story worth telling, it is time to leverage resources like Forex PR Wire to build strategies that attracts the authority you actually deserve. The blueprint is all right here. Transform your milestones into searchable assets. Let the syndication and indexing process do the heavy lifting, and just watch as your digital footprint creates that evergreen visibility. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Take a hard look at your company's achievements over the last quarter. Are they currently vanishing into the void of a social media feed, or are they anchored out there as permanent assets actively building your firm's authority?